Good morning, good day, good evening. My name, as always, is Brody Robertson, and today we're back for the 38th episode of Take Over Tea. And by the time this goes up, I will have already recorded an episode of Trav's podcast, Trav Crypto. He was on the last episode of the podcast. That'll be up on his channel. It's called 15 Minutes of Fame. I recommend going and checking it out. I haven't recorded it yet, but I've watched the previous episodes, and if I perform anything like the previous guests, it'll probably be a pretty entertaining experience. Now, I lost my water bottle. There it is. So, you might notice something is a bit different with what's going on here. We might get back to that in just a moment, but before we do, actually no, we'll start with that and then I'll go to the more fun thing after that. So, because I had to change, I guess, my entire plans for this podcast because a video came out that I desperately have to talk about. But before we get to that, what's going on with my scene over here? Because you probably noticed, you can see, all of my face. You can see, well, you can always see all of my face, but there's no like border around the edges. Now, this isn't how it's going to be all of the time. I'm probably going to switch back to what I was using before. What we're looking at right now, however, is actually the layout I'm going to be using for when I start doing streaming over on, I guess, Twitch. And if I don't know, at this stage, I'm going to be restreaming, but maybe I'll decide to do something different. What I will definitely be doing is uploading VODs and uploading clips onto YouTube, though, just because Twitch's DMCA system is garbage. So it's safer to upload them on YouTube, because if YouTube catches them, then it's probably going to be something that needs to be yeeted. But I have methods to, avoid that being a problem by, not playing fucking top 40 music like a lot of streamers do, and not watching literal episodes of South Park. But I got this during the sale on what the fuck's the website called? Own 3D. Own 3D. That's what the show. That's what the shop is called. During October, they were doing a 50% off sale, and is that audio here? No, it's not. Okay. During October, they were doing a 50% off sale, and I managed to pick up this layout. So let's have a look at the starting layout, or the starting screen. Also, we have nice transitions, which are kind of cool. So this is what the starting screen looks like. I will obviously put my Twitter handle, and actually I'm going to put this on my first desktop so I can actually see it. That one? Yeah, I forgot my own key bindings. So this is basically the starting screen. So when I start up the stream, you'll see this thing, basically. Now, obviously, I will have my Twitter handle, Instagram, and YouTube here. That's just not there right now because I haven't done it. I'm just trying to finish off uni first, and then we can go and fix all that stuff up. For now, it's perfectly fine, though. I think my audio level's slightly too high. That's another thing I need to get rid of, this fucking microphone. Yeah, okay, that's better. Cool. It clips when it's not actually clipping inside of OBS, which is fucking annoying. Anyway, I think this looks really cool, and I think, what did I pay for it? Like $50 for the entire thing? Not just this screen. I didn't pay $50 for this screen. We also have the pause screen, so this one right here, which looks basically the same, but it just says some different text on it. We have the ending screen, which is this guy right here. Thanks for watching. Ending screen. It looks like an ending screen. Nothing too crazy there. Once again, obviously, I will put my handles in there when I get around to doing so. And this was the one that we were just seeing, so that one there. But that's not the end of it. So let's go put this back on the other desktop. And if we click on this one looks kind of neat. I can actually have like a full screen view of my browser. So over on the podcast, normally what I do over on the podcast, that's what we're doing right now. On the podcast, normally what I do is I'll have like half my screen basically taking up the web browser. Just because I don't really have a better way to lay it out, but this actually does give me some ideas about how I could do it. I could probably have like a stack here and then have the webcams in there. That would probably work. I could probably fit like 3 or 4 guests on that. And yeah, the mic is still working. Yeah, it is cool. Because there's a lot of video files in here. I have a lot of empty audio tracks that aren't actually doing anything. I don't know if there's a way to get rid of those. There might be, but I'm not entirely sure. And also we have the game chat, which is just this one right here. So we've got a little border around my webcam, and then the browser, in this case, is just taking up the rest of the screen. Obviously, normally it wouldn't be a web browser. Normally it would be something like a game or something of that nature. Now, you can probably work out which layout I went with. Let's go back to this one. No, we'll go back to this one, actually. You can probably work out which layout I went with. It's the one being advertised right on the top here. This is the one that Harris Heller helped to make, because it's the Alpha Gaming one. Actually, no, I'm actually on the Alpha Gaming page right here. No wonder it's showing the Alpha Gaming one. Let's go to the home page and see what it shows. Okay, the Alpha Gaming one is right here. Normally, how much is it? Normally, it would be... Oh, it's actually still on... Okay, so they did a October sale, and they're doing a November sale as well. So if you actually want to go pick up a one of these Twitch layouts, you can obviously use it on other platforms, but if you want one of these layouts, they're still on sale now. So, yeah. And it says 4 hours until it ends, but it did the same thing with the October sale as well. So it's probably going to be 4 hours, and then it rolls over to the next day. And I can probably imagine... they're going to do a Christmas sale as well, so you've probably got an entire another month. I would really recommend coming to this website, especially if you don't really know... You don't really have any ideas to make it yourself, and you don't really... It's probably fine to just use something like this when you get started up. It's better than having literally nothing, and if then down the line you're like, hey, I actually really like streaming... Then you can be like, okay, I'm going to go to somewhere like Fiverr and actually get something, commissioned for yourself. So, yeah. Also, they have sound packs as well. So if we go to the alerts and sounds. Actually, this is going to be dangerous. I'll keep my my cursor up here. Let's go to the... Yeah, there we go. I don't know if they're going to play noise if I put my cursor over them. Because some of them actually do. You can get Twitch alerts and stuff in here as well. You can also get things like avatars and logos, but this is something that I probably would go and get done some other way, because if you're going to get your logo done through own TV, you're going to have the exact same style of logo that literally everyone else does. So that part I would recommend against, especially if you want to have a custom, or your own custom special brand. But when it comes to just, a layout like I have over here, I think that going this route's actually a good idea. Now, obviously, there are free layouts you can get out there. Some of them are going to be good, some of them aren't going to be good. I think this, okay, I like a very minimal look. I think this is still a bit too much for me. When I get when and if I get something custom done, I will take a lot of elements from this. For example, you can see the 3 bars... that direction. The 3 bars along the top that have like your donation and things like that in there. Those ones I think look really cool. I'll probably keep them in the same spot, and I'll probably keep a lot of the same elements, but those like circles sitting above them, like the like cyany ring on the left hand side, I think looks kind of weird. And instead of having that white bar go back and forth along the top, I'd probably have it go like around, like all the way around. I think that would look pretty dope. And same with my webcam, my webcam. Probably put it on the desktop that I'm actually got my webcam on. So I'm actually looking at the camera. Same with the webcam here. So I would probably have like a blue ring going around like the entire thing, rather than just having these flashing lights here. But I wouldn't have the ring going around in like the same pace. It would move at different paces as it goes around, which I think would look like pretty cool. Also, this like line in the live chat in the bottom left, I think looks kind of weird. Same with the one in the top right. I think it doesn't really add anything that I'm kind of a fan of. It's sort of just, it's filling space for the sake of filling space. There are other neat things you could do that would actually kind of look nice, I guess. Like maybe have, once again, another ring. Oh, you can see my my cursor. So maybe have a ring that goes around the live chat instead or something like that. I think there's ways that you could definitely improve this, but I think it's absolutely a good starting point, and I'll probably end up using this as a reference piece when I do want to go get something custom. Probably from Fiverr, just because, you know, you can find surprisingly good things on Fiverr. Oh no, that broke everything. There we go. Okay, that's one of the nice things about BSPWM. It actually remembers my my floating window sizes, so if I accidentally do something stupid like that, I can fix it. Yeah, so we'll go back to the talking head. I guess the full screen talking. Now this one would normally also have some extra things on here as well, like these guys here. I don't know if they're lined up exactly perfectly. I might have them. I might have the middle one slightly off. I haven't, you know, gone and measured it perfectly. It looks like it's centered though. So if it's not, yeah, that's something I'll fix later. Now there is one thing I don't like about what you get from Own TV. So if we go back to the game chat thingy, you notice we have a live chat window here. Now this live chat window, I can't actually separate from the rest of this layout. So one of the things that's good about Own TV is it's modular in very heavy air quotes. Some of the elements are stored as like separate things, and like this layout right here, having these along the, I'm pointing to it with my cursor and you can't see the cursor. Having the those dollar thingies along the top and the lights and stuff, having those along the top, that's not actually part of this layout by default, but I decided to add those in, and it just looks better. Same with, you can't see it right now, but if I had a song playing, it would have a name of the song down here, just so, you know, the artist of the song gets some credit. But things like this live chat window, I can't actually separate out from the rest of the design, and I don't think I can separate out the border for the video window either, which is also annoying because I'd like to resize that. Or as I said, Own TV is good. However, I would like it to be a bit more modular. Yeah, that's my big point. If they just gave you all of the components and also then like a default layout, that would be really, really cool. But they only give you some of the components as separate things, and trying to get like the live chat out, you could probably, I don't know, maybe you could do something, but I don't think there's a real easy way to do so. You'd probably have to like crop out the video, and it's, I don't think it would really, really work that nice. Plus, because you've got that like black square going in and out under it, yeah, it would kind of look a little weird if you took that out separate. But if it was just a separate element that I could use, that would be a little bit different. So hey, Own TV, if you happen to be watching this, you're not going to be, but if you happen to be, make it so it's just more modular, and that would be absolutely amazing. Now, speaking of the, I'll go back to this guy. Speaking of, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'll make the transition shorter. I did already speed it up a little bit. Also, I got rid of the sound. I didn't like the sound. I feel like the sound is a bit annoying. Maybe I'll bring it back. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I know a lot of streamers like to use sounds, like for transitions and stuff, but I don't know. Anyway, on that note, I got some new toys to play with. So, oh god, no, drop it. It's fine. It's just a USB stick. This guy right here. We'll go with the less interesting one first. This guy right here is gonna can you read it? HDMI splitter. So this takes in a HDMI input on this side here, and then on this side here, it splits it into two HDMI outputs. Now, why is this useful? Well, what it means that I can do is if I wanted to stream a game from, say, my PS4, I wouldn't have to just, you know, take the video stream into my PC and then play off of the delayed version that's playing inside of OBS. What I could do instead is I can have one side going into my PC for OBS and the other side going to my monitor and play off of that. And there might be a little bit of delay, but it would be nowhere near as bad as what's happening inside of OBS. I actually haven't tested this, and I haven't played many games in a while, so even if there is a delay, I won't notice it. The OBS delay I will notice because I'm actually noticing a delay as I'm talking. There's like a tenth of a second, maybe 0.2 of a second delay, and that actually would screw me up constantly. Now, I can't directly plug like the HDMI into my PC. There'd be no way to capture it. However, there is a way to capture it, and that is by getting one of these guys. This is the greatest invention known to man. This is the greatest invention of slave labor ever created. This is a little HDMI video capture stick that came from China. And obviously it's from China, and because it's from China, it's made by children in a sweatshop factory, basically. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is that this thing is like $15 and does basically as much as the Elgato Camlink, that one. Honestly, if it was just made in... I would pay like $50 for this thing. If Korea wanted to manufacture and take it out of Chinese slave labor, that would be great. I would appreciate that. Less slave labor is probably a good thing. You know what? We'll go with not probably a good thing. We'll go with definitely a good thing. I would pay $50 for this little stick because it's upside down. Because this thing is much cheaper than Elgato Camlink. So if we go look at how much an Elgato Camlink is right now, that is basically a stick that lets... Okay, I didn't even explain what this thing does. If you don't know what an Elgato Camlink is, basically what this thing does is has a USB thingy on here, and on this side, it has an HDMI, basically input. What it does is effectively takes the video stream from the HDMI and then outputs it through the USB, and then treats it as if it's just like a webcam or anything like that. So the Elgato Camlink is obviously Elgato's implementation of this. Yeah, I'll have cookies, whatever. Okay, so this is just the Elgato website. Let's actually look at on Amazon. Because it... Elgato Camlink. There we go. Okay. So if we go over to that one, I should probably set up hotkeys for this. It would be a bit easier. And see, it's even right next to the my amazing little stick here. So the Elgato Camlink is $191.19 Australian dollars. Now, if you convert that into, you know, not shit currency, that would be like $140, $150. This thing, $20. But it's not actually $20, because if instead of doing it here, what we do is we go over to somewhere like eBay. eBay is my favorite store to ever be created, because eBay, I guess, I haven't bought anything from AliExpress, but AliExpress is probably just as good. Basically, you don't have to pay $20 for this, because what you can do is you can go to eBay and you can get it for $18, or you can get it for $14. Video capture with... Oh, there's a new one. Is this by the same... Maybe this is by the same slave factory. I don't know. There is also this guy right here, but apparently this one isn't very good. So make sure it's this form factor here if you're going to buy them yourself. I bought 2 of them. One reason is because one of them might not work. Very possible. The other reason is because I want one of them for when I get a new camera, because plugging the camera into the PC, I'm going to have to do that through HDMI out, and then obviously into the PC like that. Now, if I get a Canon, or is this Sony? I don't remember. One of them now has their like camera streaming software actually available on Linux. So if I got one of those, then yeah, that actually would be something I could do. Here you go. Here's another one. $14.95. Or you can pay... Okay, there's a lot of Elgatos that people are flipping on here. Maybe this is supposed to this is supposed to compete with the Elgato game capture. I don't know. Video capture with loop. Wait, what? Video capture with loop, and the other one says video... Where is it? Video capture with audio. Huh? Let's have a look at this. Is there anything? No, there's nothing on the screen that you shouldn't see. I wasn't sure how much eBay actually shows when you're logged in. So, what does this do? Video, blah, 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 real-time output. support Windows. Oh, wait, wait, wait. Okay. Are you guys seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Okay, so this I'll just read it out for the audio the audio listeners. So this thing takes in video capture or video input from I think that's like a red camera or something. That's not a red, but it's some like $10,000-$20,000 film camera, right? Okay, cool. Also takes in video capture from a drone, perfectly reasonable. Video camera they had there was a bit extreme. Game console, that's a Xbox One of some description. Phone, I think the phone's like, it looks like an older Moto like G3 or something like that. TV box, which I'm guessing is supposed to be like a TV what is that, receiver, whatever they call them in the US. We don't really use them here. We just plug an aerial in the back of our TV. It magically works. Also, medical imaging software or medical imaging hardware. So like hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical imaging equipment. You're going to plug into this $32 video capture device. Okay, sure. But it doesn't stop there. Because once you've plugged it into the video capture device with loop, I don't know what with loop is supposed to mean. Is that supposed to mean like loop back audio or something? I don't know. You plug it into, or you plug it with USB into something that has Windows, comma, OS, comma, why is there I don't know why there's a comma there. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Linux, comma, desktop, comma, and laptop. Not laptop, laptop. Now, I don't know what laptops are supposed to be, and I don't know what operating system desktop is, and I've never heard of the OS called OS. So, And then from there, it also has like a bunch of things at the bottom, so you can plug your USB video capture into a console, which is not something you can do, or you can plug it into a host. Now, by host, what it means is a computer. Or you can plug it back into the video camera, so you can record from the video camera, and then output it back to the video camera. Now, I don't think this is something that you can actually do with any video camera that actually exists. The only thing that actually makes sense here is the phone need conversion cable, also known as need a USB adapter, not a conversion cable. This is why I love eBay. eBay ads are amazing. And also projector. Now, the other reason why eBay is great is because eBay has really, really good buyer protection. It used to be bad a few years ago, but now, basically any dispute that happens, it goes to the buyer's side. Literally any problem you have, it's probably hell for the sellers, but literally any problem you have, eBay is going to step in and basically force the seller to return your money, or they're going to return it themselves. Let's go over to the other one. So this is the video capture with audio. So what does it come with? It comes with it comes with 2 USB cables for some reason, and a user manual. Wow, that's crazy. Also, that's not something you're allowed to do. So all of these devices, if you're just listening to the audio version, all of them, I'll go, my drink's in the way. All of these devices have this little logo on here that says HDMI. Now, you might know something about HDMI. That is the fact that HDMI is a trademark, and you can't just go and slap the trademark on anything. So, what they're doing in the marketing material for this is they're claiming, like, it makes it seem like HDMI as like a company or something is the one that's developing this, which is obviously nonsense. That doesn't make any sense. Let's see what else we have here. So, support AWG26 HDMI standard. Why do you need to specify this very specific standard and just say it's a standard HDMI cable? Or HDMI, you're not doing anything special with HDMI. If you're doing something like Ethernet, I'm pretty sure Ethernet over HDMI is a thing. Or like, can you do power over HDMI? I know you can do Ethernet. Anyway, as long as you're just doing video, literally any Ethernet cable will work. It doesn't really matter, like, if it supports other things as well. If it supports video, it'll work. Also, this thing, it supports input up to 15 meters, 1080p and below resolution. Sure, okay. Weird way to phrase it, but okay. Here we have a really weird picture. You have very, very happy people in a board meeting, and this chick in the middle here looks like a female Joker. I don't know what's supposed to be happening in this picture. Let's get the next one. Screen share for meeting. I guess, yeah, that's a fair use case, yeah. Capture card support 1080p 30p? 30p? What? Is that how much it costs in the UK? I think that's supposed to say 30 FPS, not 30p. Like, is that supposed to be a new resolution or something? Yeah, I'm gonna go with that's wrong. Oh, okay, I guess that's why it has the micro USB, because it has to take in 5-volt power. Okay, that's fair. So, a fast, familiar, and affordable way to share content in the conference room and into online meetings. Connect to present? What is... No software required. Well, you need your video software, obviously. Simply connect to a laptop or tablet via HDMI to start sharing. Well, that is the only sentence I've seen that actually makes sense. But connect to present... Or maybe that... Wait, no, I'm... No... Connect to present. No, connect to present. Okay, no, that's a me problem. Okay, no. Connect to present. Not connect to present. Ignore me. I don't know how the English language works. Webcam. No, you're never gonna... Is there a single webcam on the market that has like an HDMI input? Or HDMI output, sorry. All of them are USB. Whatever. PS4, Xbox, Switch, game computer. Which is different from a regular computer, I guess. And capture videos saved to computer or push to online live streaming platform. So why is this USB cable so big? Oh, Lord. Okay. Oh, we've got the specifications, but for some reason they decided to make the image upside down. Sure. For a second I thought I said Windows 9, but no, it didn't have that. USB 2. Based on the high-speed USB 2.0 technology, it can capture one signal channel HD HDMI. Can you... Yeah, I guess that's fair. No, you can run HDMI under 1080p, yeah, or under 720p. This picture. I love it when they... Why is this picture here? It's just like, here's a sexy shot of my my capture card, and I think that's the last one. Okay. So hey, look, the sale ends in 10 hours. Make sure you go pick them up. All I'll say is these are really good devices. They work. This thing works perfectly on Linux from what I've seen. It seems that it's sometimes a problem between kernel updates, but there are fixes that are known online because a lot of people have started to use this thing because, you know, it's $14 and it does basically everything you need. Now, obviously, there are some limitations. I think it's limited to 30 FPS. So that's another reason why you don't want to have this coming into OBS and then watching the stream to play your game. You're probably not going to be streaming 1080p 60 anyway. At least you're not going to be doing so in Australia. So for me, it doesn't really matter. Maybe if it's a big thing for you, maybe that's a thing that you'll want to do. But if it is, then I guess either wait until the Chinese sweatshops output one that can do like 4K 60, which I expect to happen with how popular this thing's been, or just fork out the money for an Elgato Cam Link, because at that point you sort of have to. Yeah. So the other thing I want to talk about today Well, one of the other things I want to talk about, there's actually a lot I want to talk about, but one of the other things I want to talk about is a video that Mr. Derek Taylor put out, Mr. DistroTube. And I wasn't planning to talk about DistroTube today, but he uploaded this video about 20 minutes before I started recording, and it's not a super terrible ratio, but it's a bit low for a DT video. So he made this video right here. I will not watch these Linux YouTubers. And I'm going to turn up the audio a bit. I should have actually put monitoring on, and then I'd be able to hear what you guys hear. Yeah, okay, so
I have stated on a number of occasions that
hopefully that's loud enough. Now I'm going to go ahead to where the timestamp that actually matters. I think it's right here.
Take positions typically that no sane person would take. For example, I'm sure you guys that consume a lot of Linux YouTube video content, you guys have seen videos titled such as the following: Why Internet Privacy is Bad.
That would be Brian Lunduk.
Linux sucks. Why
also Lunduk.
Windows is better than Linux.
That would be Chris Titus.
Ubuntu is the devil. Deep in
that would also be Chris Titus.
Spyware, etc.
And that would be Quids Up. Now, I haven't actually watched Quids Up before, but what he's saying here is these are the kinds of Linux content creators that he just cannot stand the content they're producing and thinks that really they're not good they're not good advocates for Linux. And he goes on further after this to start talking about using Pepe memes and having very clickbaity titles. And we know exactly who's being talked about there. That would be Mental Outlaw and Luke Smith, along with all of the copycats that exist. Now, obviously, I joke about being a Luke Smith copycat, but I do very much do my own thing. But this video, holy shit, I really recommend going and watching it. If you didn't see the title, also for the audio people, it was called I Will Not Watch These Linux YouTubers. And the timestamp I was at about 6:15 or so. And then obviously going forward, he reads through the types of videos that he doesn't like. Now, it seems that the like to dislike ratio isn't too bad just yet, but let's go see some of the comments. I did leave a comment on here myself. Linux, Mac, and Windows sounds like Chris Titus. Oop. I was thinking Chris Titus the whole time. Yep, Ubuntu is the devil. People are noticing it. Let's see what else we can find. Controversy. You know what doesn't cause controversy? Programming in C. Okay, that's friendship ended with DistroTube. Now RuneScape default character is my best friend. Lord, these comments. Provocateur, DT is not bold. There's nothing controversial about that one, friend. Man, that title is very clickbait. I just hate clickbait. Also, he brought up people who casually use Linux who also make Linux videos. So people like, say, Linus Tech Tips, where they don't, like, no one in their team uses Linux on a day-to-day basis. Maybe they use it for, like, managing their server, but besides that, no one's like a desktop Linux YouTuber. No one's a desktop Linux user. And basically the point he brings up is that these people look at Linux from the technical merits and don't really look at any of the ideological reasons to use Linux. Now, I don't personally have a problem with this myself. I think that some people put way too much emphasis on the Linux ideology, and this is why Linux is like this is maybe I should think about what I'm trying to say before I try to say it. I don't think that the Linux ideology is the most important thing about Linux. At the end of the day, you have, like, if you're going to be using something like this as a desktop system, it has to be technically competent to the point where you can actually get your work done. Now, at this stage in time, for most tasks, Linux is definitely completely technically competent. Now, there are some things where it's not great for. I know it's getting better for doing things like audio work, and If you want to know a lot about how to do Linux audio work, go watch Unfuz's channel. But there is a lot of areas where Linux is still kind of lacking. Now, that's not to say that you can't do it on Linux. Like, for example, what's a good example? Podcasting, there's one. Obviously, I do my podcast with OBS, but if we go back like 5 or 6 years, most of the podcasting tools that are used nowadays simply just didn't exist. And doing even things like video capture on Linux is still a relatively new thing. So OBS, until that came around, everyone was using XSplit, and XSplit's only available on Windows. Once OBS became, like, you know, a good piece of software, everyone switched to it because it's just a better tool. But that's just not the case for every single task you could possibly want to do on Linux. So I do definitely see merit to the talking about Linux as a technically competent tool to use. But I do see why people who describe themselves as Linux advocates would actually have a problem, you know, with people actually framing it simply in that way. I've made my case on why I think the technical stuff's important plenty of times before, but I see where DT is coming from there. Now let's have a look at this comment here. I only watch Luke Smith, Mental Outlaw, and DistroTube. He's literally talking about how much Luke Smith sucks in this video. That's another thing. I can't make a fair judgment on anything Luke does because I'm very biased in that respect. The only reason my channel is as big as it is now is because I got that shout out from Luke back at the start of the year. I've said this plenty of times before. I can't trust myself to make a fair judgment on anything that Luke does. DT, I feel like, is in a very different position. Luke Smith hates everything. Everything is an extreme with him. I can't watch it. Yeah, that's entirely fair. I will show you something hilarious about Luke in just a moment, though. I personally still do watch a lot of Luke's content. I don't really watch anyone's Linux content. DT said the same thing in his video. Linux content, okay, when you're a Linux YouTuber or a Linux content creator, whatever you want to call yourself, Linux influencer, if you will, I don't really want to be watching Linux content after I've spent all day making Linux content. When I want to take a break, I want to go and do something completely far removed from that. So I still watch Luke's content, and I actually do enjoy his like boomer rants where he goes into like his tree, or it's not his tree farm, the tree farm near his place, and just vlogs in there. I think that the way he does Linux content, I've actually said this back at the start when I made my channel. The reason why I made my channel is because I didn't like the way that Luke was actually covering a lot of topics. I felt like he skipped over a lot of things which would seem obvious to... Is that line in the wrong spot? It would seem obvious to people who've been using Linux for a while, but I had literally just started using Linux when I started the channel, which is another thing that DT talks about in this video. Get back to that in just a moment. But I started my channel because I didn't like the way that Luke was actually covering Linux stuff. And he does it the exact same way now. Skips over a lot of stuff, which is very, very important to know, but just treats it as if it's something that is, you know, something that people are going to know by default. For example, things like where a specific application's config file is going to be located. I always mention this because there's going to be times where applications simply don't have it in the .config folder, or they have the config file named in some weird way, or the config file isn't generated by default and you have to go make it yourself. And sometimes it's not really documented that well on how to do so. So I think it just makes sense to include that information. Whereas typically when Luke does a Linux video, it's very, very straight to the point. And I think for some tasks, or for some things, that's a really good thing. But I think for a lot of other cases, it makes more sense to come at it from my approach. Now, I get why Luke does it like that. He said it before, he doesn't really care about being a Linux YouTuber. I don't know how much... That's actually another point I want to bring up about Luke. I don't know how much that's actually a character and how much that's actually him being completely legitimate, because he's 100k Linux YouTuber at this point. Whether he wants to be a Linux YouTuber or not is not really it's not really up for debate at this point. He is a Linux YouTuber. He's got a massive Linux channel, and he's also got a massive cult following as well. But I guess if he stops making Linux content, honestly, he'll probably get more views, to be honest. It seems like his like ranty vlog videos actually get more views than his Linux stuff does anyway. But if we go back to the talking screen. There we go. I definitely want to speed that up. That takes way too long. What was I talking about? Right, Luke. Right, Luke's Linuxy videos. I find that words. I find that I have trouble actually enjoying Luke's Linux content now that I'm actually making my own content, and I'm really seeing the glaring faults in what he's actually, the way he structures his videos. Not to say that what he says is wrong. Most of what he says is perfectly fine and is actually really good information. But it's just not structured the way that I think is the best for, you know, Linux content to actually be structured. Now, if he wants to keep, like, that, it's actually good that people are doing it different ways. I don't think that everyone should be making the same sort of content. I want to make the content the way I want to make it. Luke wants to make it the way he wants to make it. DT wants to make it the way he wants to make it. I think that's all good, and it gives people the choice for how they actually want to, you know, how they want to, I guess, consume, as Luke would say, consume Linux videos. One other person DT brought up in this, I mentioned before, he brought up Chris Titus and Brian Lunduk. So Brian Lunduk has a series called Linux Sucks. Now, Linux Sucks isn't really about how Linux sucks. It's about really dumb things that Linux does and why it's still a really good operating system regardless. That's basically the gist of it. I think Linux Sucks is actually a really, really good series. But lately, Lunduk has been doing a lot of these... What's the best way to describe it? Oh god, his thumbnails are even lazier now. His thumbnails were just super lazy before, but, like... Look at this. Still 2.8k views, which is probably because he got 69-ish k subscribers. But let's go to his channel. So IDE versus SCSI. I don't know what SCSI means. Arch versus Debian. Oh no, that's a way to piss people off. Windows ME versus Gentoo. What is that? What is that video? I haven't seen it. Could be great. Seems to have a good reception. But you can notice that for a 68k, I think I've talked about this before, but for a 68k subscriber YouTube channel, his views are really, really low. Like, incredibly low, but this is the... Look at that fucking ratio, though. It got him a lot of views, but that fucking ratio is, yeah, pretty bad. Being anonymous on the internet is bad. That was what the video was titled, and anonymity does not equal privacy. These were two videos that DT specifically mentioned, and that's a whole discussion right there, whether you should be allowed to be anonymous on the internet. The answer is, yes, you should. The reason why I'm not is because as a content creator, it simply makes sense to use your actual persona to make the content. Because that's how, or it makes it easier for people to actually connect to you if you're, you know, actually being a real person. Now, that's not to say that's the only way to do it, because VTubers do an absolutely fantastic job with what they do, but, you know, hiding behind, like, if you go look at, say, the politics sphere, for example, a couple of years ago, there was a lot of channels that were coming out that were doing, like, hey, I am a bear, I am a lion, I am a cat, I am a dog. Basically just using a PNG and then just talking about politics. And before that, you had the I am a guy in a suit. You had people like Undoomed, Armored Skeptic, people like that, where it was just like the exact same generic suit and then some sort of face. And that's all they were doing. I think in some respects it can work. If you're like the first person who does it, or you're the person who who does it the best. That can definitely work. But generally, it's just easier to go with your persona. And that's why a lot of streamers do it as well. Because if you're going to be a streamer, you sort of have to connect to your audience. And the easiest way to lower people's boundaries, lower their, what's the word I'm thinking of? Lower their restraints. Maybe boundaries is the best word there. But one of the easiest way to do so is just say, hey, I am just a regular person. I'm not hiding behind some extra persona online. I don't have some like gamer tag I use online. I just go. Is gamer tag a thing that anyone actually uses anymore? I don't know. Is Xbox still called them gamer tags? This is. I'm aging myself here. The point I was getting at there was if you want people to be able to connect to you, a basic minimum step is, using your actual face and using your actual name online. But, and this is a big but, this is a very big but, that's a bad joke. Why am I laughing at butt jokes? Anyway, if you don't want to do that, if you just want to be a person who, posts about, I don't know, Pepe memes online, you want to be, talking shit with people you don't like in politics, you want to be trolling people, you want to do anything like that, I think it's entirely fine if you want to be hiding behind a persona. You want to be hiding behind a persona. I think that's actually a good thing that people can do. Yeah. Also, Lunduk did a really dumb video a while back as well. Cool. Lunduk's never coming on this podcast now. Maybe he will. I don't know. I think that would be fun, even though I do have my problems with the content he makes. He did this video right here. macOS is based on Linux or BSD. No, it's not based on Linux. It is based on BSD. There is no level of bullshitting around the Unix history that you can say that macOS is not based on BSD. It is a BSD variant. That's just how it is. There's nothing else you can say about that. I know a lot of people. Actually, no, I don't know anyone who makes the argument besides Lunduk that it's not actually. I think he's the only person I've ever seen actually make the argument that macOS is not based on BSD. It is explicitly based on BSD. There is a reason why the macOS kernel is licensed like BSD is and has BSD source code in it and is literally a fork of BSD. Nothing you can say about that is gonna basically say it's not. Just saying, but it's I'll listen to watch the video. I don't remember his exact arguments. But yeah, he made the argument that it wasn't, and people in the comments were like, no, it literally is. Like, it literally is BSD. But I don't know. That's enough ranting about Lunduk for now, because I do want to have him on the podcast at some point. Speaking of someone who I want to have come on the podcast, in a few weeks, I've got a Linux YouTuber coming on the podcast, and no, it's not DT, which I will bring DT on the podcast at some point. That would be fun, and I know he'll do it because he said he would collab with me back when I had like 200 subs. So I feel like now, when I have like 11,000 on the podcast on Library and like 15,000 on YouTube and things like that. I know subs don't really matter, but I feel like he'll do it. He's a busy person though, so I don't know when it'll happen. The Linux YouTuber I am bringing on though is going to be HexDSL, who I know a lot of people have their problem with him as well, but he's sort of in his own little niche. He doesn't sit there talking about, oh, this is why open source and stuff is great. He's just like, I'm gonna play games on Linux. Fuck it. Like, that's fine. I think that's perfectly fine. If you want to do that and you don't really care about... Oh, that was one thing DT did bring up. People who... No, I think I mentioned that. People who talk... who call themselves Linux YouTubers who don't really talk about free and open source software. There are other reasons to use Linux. One of them is you don't want to pay for Windows. Another one is you just want to use something that's really customizable. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyway, HexDSL, he's coming on the podcast soon, but UK time is shit, so it's going to be a pain. I'm probably going to have to be up at like 6, 7 in the morning. 7's not really that bad, but 6 is kind of bad. yeah, that'll be probably episode 40 at this stage, because 39 I'm bringing one of my mates on because he wants, I don't know why he wants to do this. It's his job, I guess. He wants to rant about his shitty students. So, hey, if he wants to do it, fine by me. He's been on the podcast before. That was what's his online handle? Irishman, something like that. I don't remember what episode he was on, but yeah. I'll see if I can find the number. Actually, I'm on YouTube right now. So, Tech over T, Tech over Ye, Tech over T, Irishman. No, I can't find it. Okay. Cause oh no, it has like numbers in it as well, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't remember the exact episode. Anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about with Mr. Luke Smith. So I love my Discord. I genuinely love my Discord because they will show me things that yeah. So where is it? On the Wayback Machine, you can go have a look at what Luke Smith's website looked like back in 2016. Now, why is this fun? Well, the reason why this is fun is because back in 2016, he had some interesting pictures on his website. Let's see, do I have a direct link to that one? Luke Smith. Pictures? Is that the one I want? Yes, it's photos. Okay. And we'll go through these slowly because they get better as we go on. So the first one is this one right here. Nothing too crazy. It's just it's just Luke out on a holiday. He's got a bit more hair than he does now. But he's still the Luke Smith that we all know and love. But as we scroll down, they get even better. Now, sadly, some of the images are broken. But this next one is already good enough that I don't even really care. So, this is the picture that Luke uploaded of him at his father's wedding, I think it said. Oh god, this picture is... Why is this picture so big? Look at this lad. I've already seen pictures of Luke like this on here. He used to have an old GitHub profile picture where I think it would have been around this time where he looked something like this, but there's just something different. There's something amusingly different about how Luke looked at this point. But we can go further back. We can go further back in history. Oh, Luke, why did you upload these pictures? Sadly, this one is broken. There's a picture called Accidental Selfie. And it does... It works. I thought the images were completely broken. They're just not loading on the website. Why did he upload... Why did he upload this? There are pictures of me that are just this bad. And you can go and find them, but I'm not going to put them on my personal website. I guess that means we can probably see these ones right here. From a YouTube thumbnail. What is this? Oh yeah, no, I've seen that one. That's from his Ranger video, which is one of the videos I actually really enjoyed that Luke made. Okay, what else? Was that okay? Cool, let's go further down. So that was the accidental selfie. Do I want to show this one? My brother and me at our mother's funeral. I think we'll leave that one. That one can stay in the past. I don't want to disrespect his mother's funeral. But what I will disrespect is my undergraduate graduation. That one that one sounds like fun. I hadn't seen this before. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna send this. I will have to be sending this to my to my Discord. What? Why? just go watch the the audio version of the video version of this for this section. I can't properly explain what what I'm seeing on the screen right here. As I said, there are images of me that look this bad, and maybe I'll share them one day, but they're not going on my personal website. Oh, fuck. I don't think anyone in my Discord had seen this one, because we saw the broken links, and we just assumed that, you know, the images weren't working. Oh, God. Okay, we've got more. So, me at the Oriental Pearl Tower in Shanghai. This is where we start getting into Luke isn't even the same person anymore. Like, who is this? He's got a full head of hair. He's in, like, a city. He's, like, got a a harem of women around him, which is very, 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 very different from what I would expect from Luke nowadays. And he seems like just a regular chap. Which, if you look at Luke's videos now, he seems like he's on the road to becoming, like, the next, Ted Kaczynski at this point. But at this point, you look at him and he's like, hey, look, he's a regular dude. Now, I have a perfect idea for a meme format if anyone wants to make it. It's like a play on the, like the don't do cocaine, don't do, methamphetamine, thing like that. Don't do Linux. So you have this picture of Luke right here, and then you show what he looks like now. It's like, don't do Linux. This is the result. And we have one more, I think, and this. Oh, there's a couple more, but the rest were broken. So I hadn't seen these. Okay, this is. I'm guessing he'd be like. He looks like he's probably in his early 20s here, but he looks like a completely different person. Like, he has a full head of hair, not just like hair on his head. A full head of hair. The goatee's back. I don't know why the fucking goatee's back. And he seems like he's really uncomfortable being hugged by his cousin here. He's like, I don't know what to do. There are women near me, but they're my cousins. I don't know what to do with you. And she seems happy about it though. I guess it's her wedding, so she's probably happy. At this point, she's probably really drunk, so I could imagine she would be. But I wonder what Luke is looking at here. It's probably like one of his mates off to the side here, just like laughing at him because he looks so fucking uncomfortable. But now we get into the ones that I haven't seen. So I don't know what to expect from here. Is there going to be more laughing? There probably will be. Angsty teen raging against the machine. Okay. The entire thing that we're seeing here is angsty teen. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, he's gonna fucking rage against the machine show. And the goatee's back. Oh my lord. Wait, what is that in the background? Wow, Luke actually is considerably older than I thought he was. That's a Polaroid camera in the background. And that is a very, very old dishwasher right there. But just let this image sink in for a moment. He's got more hair than I do. My hair is really thick. Like, I will go to a barber, and every single fucking time, they'll be like, oh, your hair is really thick. Like, yeah, you're the 100th person who's told me this. Thank you. But, oh, Lord. I did have, to be fair, yes, when I was, like, what is he? Probably like 16, 17 here. I did have facial hair actually worse than this. If you think the beard I had back when I started the channel was bad, you've seen nothing. Now, I would talk shit about Luke having this fucking goatee, because I had a goatee for... Actually, it's not even really a goatee. What would you even call this? I guess a goatee would be like a thingy here as well. I didn't even know what you'd call this, like fucking trying to grow some sort of beard. But my facial hair looked considerably worse a couple of years before I started the channel. Okay. Taking a break. What is taking a break? There's a hammer? What is he fucking doing? Why is he in military cargo shorts? Oh no, okay. I think I'm all laughed out. I don't think I can laugh at these anymore. Me with guitar, not sure where this was taken. Oh, he's even younger here. Wait, is he? He had braces. That's all I'll say. all I'll say is he had braces. Now this, what is even in focus here? Oh, this table in the background is in focus. Sure, okay. Off to save Grandpa. What is this one? No, fuck. There were lots of things I was thinking there. I was I wasn't expecting I wasn't expecting him to have a bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh cards in his hand. Okay. So what he has, he's probably like 10 years old here. He's got a Blue Eyes White Dragon, a bunch of other cards that Yugi would have had in his deck, and I guess he's off to save Grandpa. I was on a magazine cover as a kid, just in the right place at the right time. Okay, what do we have here? He's so young at this point that I can't work out which of the white kids he actually is. And lastly, we have me in a teepee. How young are we going with Luke now? Okay, it's just Luke as a kid. I can't laugh at it too much. It's not as funny as fucking angsty teen raging against the machine. I'm sure that was amazing for the audio listeners. I apologize, but oh, dying. Also, sorry about the audio listeners. That was fun. I'm crying now because I was not expecting some of those pictures. Okay. God, I'm gonna stop for just a moment. So, I've actually got a, I made a new change to my setup. This is something I actually ordered back when I was ordering my other lighting stuff. I just didn't have it showing up for a while. So, if we move this camera guy right here. Wow, the camera's getting really warm. You can see my light. Now, it's no longer on a little stand here. It's now on a boom. And the reason why... Sorry, I bumped the mic. The reason why that's good is because I can actually adjust the light as I need to. And also, like, say I want to do something like, for example, this. And have the light pointing at the back wall for some reason. Obviously, I wouldn't want to do that. But if I wanted to, say, like, angle it down now and have a completely different look, so I could do something like, say, there we go. There we go. It's a very, very different look to what I just had. I don't like the way it looks, but I could definitely try it if I wanted to. I'll move the mic there so you guys can actually hear me. It just gives me a lot more flexibility. And when I bought this, I made a mistake. I'll just admit it. I made a mistake when I bought it. Oh god, fuck, that's breaking. I accidentally ordered a microphone arm. Now, one thing you might realize is that a microphone is not a light. I know it seems very obvious, but the thing with camera gear is a lot of them use the exact same mount. So all of my light. Do I have one around here? Yeah, here we go. We'll use this light. So all of the lights I have that's very bright in my eye. Have this exact same mounting bracket or mounting bolt. So this is standard mount. Every single piece of lighting equipment uses this, and every single camera has the exact same mount. So cameras and lights use the exact same mounting equipment. However, I did not realize that. I should have realized this because I have the exact same monitor arm sitting right here, I guess. That the monitor or the microphone mount is slightly different. It's a little bit of a bigger bolt because obviously microphones are heavier than lights and heavier, not always heavier than cameras, but generally heavier than cameras. So they just have like a bit more of a rugged bolt to use. So I didn't realize this, and I found out I wasn't actually able to attach the light. However, luckily for me, I actually ordered some things that I didn't actually need to order a little while back. So I'll just go and grab one of them. So we have, where is it? We have, oh god, tripping over everything. Break. Nope. Okay, cool. We didn't break anything. Good. Just, god, I can't wait till I have a bigger room. What we have right here is a clamp. And clamp is a very fun word to say. Clamp. Basically, it has this little clamp mount on it, and it's got a little adjustable ball thingy on here. You can adjust your ball, and you can point your ball wherever you want, wherever you want it to be pointed. Oh god. And basically what I've done is instead of trying to mount it directly to the actual monitor arm, is I've actually clamped this to it, and then I have the actual light on this one, because this one actually is a standard camera and lighting mount. So I can just stick it on that one. And this thing is probably one of the best investments I've ever made, because they are absolutely rock solid. This is all, like, it's an all metal construction. It's not just like, I guess, okay, the little thingy right here, the turny thingy, that's the only bit of plastic on here, but it's some pretty insane plastic. And I think it might have a metal core. Maybe I'm wrong. But the rest of this, even like this little thing right here, this spinny thing, even this bit right here, that is metal. Now, they're a bit on the expensive side for camera mounting gear. Now, I say expensive side because my budget typically exists inside of the eBay range, where I can get things for $5 to $10. Each of these was about $15. I bought 2 of them. I was planning to do something different with them, but it still works out that I can use them here. The nice thing about buying up a couple of these and buying some of the mounts that I have on this light right here is you're going, like, if you keep doing lighting stuff, you're eventually going to use them, because they are a very generic tool. Every single piece of equipment you use mounts to one of these. And if I don't need it now, I'll probably need it in a couple of years. Maybe a couple of months, maybe a couple of weeks. I hadn't expected to use this so soon. I was expecting these to just sit here until I eventually have my own place, where what I actually want to do is actually have like there we go, put it in the frame. So I want to have like a metal rod going like above my scene here, so I can actually mount the clamp to it and then have my light move across wherever I want it to be. And I think that would actually be really, really useful, because then what I could do is, once I actually have a bigger space in my own place, I wouldn't obviously I wouldn't have the bed here. So I could actually move around my recording space, and what that would let me do is I could just have that mounted on, basically on the ceiling, and just move it wherever I need it to be moved to. And same thing with this guy right here that I showed you before. I'll probably do the same thing where I have it mounted on the ceiling or something, but I guess with this light, actually no, with this light it probably makes sense to have it mounted on the desk. But the hair light is not really a big deal if I have it above or I have it right here. It's going to do basically the same effect. I just need to turn it up if I have it further away. But this light, as you saw, the lighting looks a little bit different. Yeah. Oh god, that's not even pointing to me anymore. Is it? No, it's a little bit up. The problem with eBay, I love these mounts. They're great. The mounts are fucking fantastic, but they're also a bit flimsy sometimes. And if you drop them a few times, they will break. I know I said last time they didn't. I dropped them a few more times and they broke. So, but they are like $5-10 each, so it's not really that big of a deal. And I can ride them off of my taxes, which is always nice to do. So I can get new equipment to mess with, and I lower my taxes a little bit. Obviously, it still comes out as the net loss for me. I'd rather not break my stuff, but it happens, basically. Yeah. What do we have on the list? So I talked about my cheapo capture sticks, Twitch layout. Oh, so right now I'm actually working on my absolute final assignment. So by the time this goes up, what'll it be? It'll be the 17th or 18th, something like that. What is it today? It's the 11th. It's a Wednesday, so it'll be the 18th. So 2 days after this comes out on YouTube, my final assignment. 2 days, maybe 1 day. 1 day after this comes out on YouTube, my final assignment is going to be due. And this final assignment is an AR assignment. So what I have to do is basically use my phone and project onto like some sort of image, a basic interface. So what we basically have to do is have like a bunch of objects there, and you can like tap on it and then clone it and move it over to another space. And yeah, pretty much like that. It's not really that complex. But you need to have some sort of image to actually project on. So there are some images that come with this library. The library itself, in case you're wondering, is just called Euphoria. I'll bring it up on the screen now. I think my light needs to be turned up a little bit. I just noticed that when the lighting changed, you could actually see it happen on my face. And I'm not a fan of that actually happening. So Euphoria, it is this guy right here. Basically, it's a pretty standard library that works in Unity and a couple of other development environments. And it comes with some standard images you can use, but in this assignment, you got some bonus marks if you use some of your own custom images. Literally, using a custom image is the same as using a regular image. All you do is take the image and you drop it on the thing. That's all you do, and you get 5 marks. Anyway, so for my custom images, I was like, okay, what do I have around here that I don't need to print? Because I don't want to get my printer down, so I'm not going to do that. But we have some copies of Shield Hero right here. So this is, I'll go, what's that one? Go that one. This, there we go. This is Volume 8 of Rising of the Shield Hero. And the other one I have is Volume 9 of Rising the Shield Hero. Now, why did I go with these specifically? Well, one, I want an excuse to take out my copies of Shield Hero because I haven't actually looked at the older volumes in quite a while. The other reason is because Euphoria works better if you have a very detailed image. So the example images they use have there's like a rocky terrain, or there's a mountainous terrain, or like an ocean. I guess ocean's probably not one of them. Or it's like a grassy terrain that's like really close to the grass. We can see a lot of detail. With an engine like this where it tries to detect an image in the real world and then map onto the real world, having something that's highly detailed just makes it easier for it to map on. So this, I would say this is fairly detailed. And also, it's very easy to get an image of. So I tried some other stuff, but when it came to this, I could very easily find an image of the cover online anyway. So I was like, okay, if I just take the cover from online, put it into Unity, and just test it, it just worked. I do have some other stuff I could have tried. For example, what would be a good one to try as well? Maybe I could have tried, say, like Log Horizon. This is probably enough detail to get it to work. One of the example images they had with just like an astronaut as well. So it's not like all of them were rocky terrains. Some of them were a bit less detailed. I reckon the lowest detail I could probably get away with would be something like like my copy of Spice and Wolf. This is something I need to finish reading as well. I have, what am I up to? Volume 8. There is a lot more Spice and Wolf out there. I think there's like 20 volumes in the first series and then more in the second. And Spice and Wolf is amazing. I recommend reading it if you haven't done so already. So, yeah, this assignment, I've been working on it for about 6 hours, and I've already passed it, so it's not a difficult assignment. I heard this last assignment was going to be really easy. I remembered to mute my microphone that time. I heard this final assignment is going to be really easy, but I didn't think it would be this easy. I thought maybe I'd spend a couple of days on it. Nope, not at all. I do have, obviously, a little bit more I need to do on it, and I want to do some polishing just because one of the marking criteria is, like, ease of usability. So, yeah, for that one, it's probably going to make sense to, like, make it just a tad bit easier to use, lay out the buttons in a way that makes sense, and, yeah. I don't think there's really much else to explain with what you actually do with the assignment, though. You basically just have a simple interface. You can clone objects, you can change their colors, you can change their textures, and then put them in another scene and move them around. That's literally all it is. And I think it's worth like 30 or 40% of my mark. Which is really, really dumb because the concepts being what we're actually doing in this class, or yeah, I guess that makes sense. The concepts we're doing in the rest of the class are all VR stuff, and then the final assignment is AR, and the AR assignment is worth more than the other assignments. And you learn about AR stuff in like, I think the last 2 weeks or so, which is a really, really weird way to structure your course then. But I think in the past they had the AR assignment earlier and then did I think they did the second assignment as the last assignment or something like that, which a lot of people really hated because the second assignment, I talked about it, is fucking terrible. Yeah, pretty much that. It's not a good assignment. It was way too big. Honestly, seeing how small this assignment is, this assignment shouldn't have existed. We just didn't need this assignment. We could have just dropped this assignment, made the second assignment just a tiny bit bigger, like 6 or so hours bigger, and then have 2 assignments in this course. Because I think I spent 3 or 4, maybe not solid weeks, but 3 or 4 weeks actually working on that assignment. It's not as bad as my C++ course where I actually did spend 3 or 4 solid weeks working on the assignment and still barely got it done. I think I left some features, I think, not done by the end of it, because I was just like, I don't have any time. And also, I was driving myself into like a depressive state, so I was just like, no, not happening. But after that's done, then I will be completely done with university, and we can move on from my life from there. Now, on that note, being someone who doesn't have like a strict, I'm going to use my education straight away plan, you run into a lot of people who start asking a lot of questions about what you're doing next year. So I don't know how many times I've had people say to me, hey, what are you doing next year? Hey, what are you doing next year? What are you doing next year? Do you have a job lined up for next year? What's your plans? I'm just like, honestly, at this point, I'm just telling everyone I'm just taking a gap year because I just can't be fucking asked trying to explain what I'm actually going to do, because typically when I do, they don't really have a... they start asking a lot more questions. I'm just like, I have better things to do with my time. So my plan at this stage, I've talked about it before, I'm leaving the education as a backup plan, because what I want to do is try to go and do my thing by myself. Try and actually build up an internet business. Try and actually see if I can make something like that. Now, obviously, most people don't. But even though most people don't succeed, some people do. And because some people do, that means that if you put enough effort into it, you could potentially be one of those people that do. And that's what the plan is going to be for next year. Basically, I'm going to keep going ahead doing exactly what I'm doing. Actually, not exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to keep going ahead with what I'm doing, plus some extra stuff. So I'm going to keep doing the YouTube stuff with my Linux channel, but I'm also going to start doing a streaming channel as well, and doing gaming stuff, and obviously having clips going up for that as well. So I don't know how many times a week, but that's what I'm going to be doing next year. And I have answered so many people asking that question. Not on YouTube. People on YouTube pretty much know what I'm doing already, but in my real life, and I understand why some people ask me. Like, for example, my mother asks me a lot, like, what I'm doing next year, and at this point, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just taking a gap year. Which is fair, because I've spent 4 years on this, and I don't know if, she's always been a very supportive person when I want to go and do just like my own thing, but I can understand why she would be worried, because it kind of seems like I'm just throwing everything away. But the education is still there if I want to go do it, and I probably will keep doing development stuff while I'm doing it as well. I might start doing some Android development stuff, because I actually do really enjoy doing that, and maybe I'll just have this massive media empire where I'm doing YouTube stuff, I'm doing streaming, I'm doing some game development, and I don't know. Or maybe I'll just start focusing on one of them and go from there. I genuinely don't know. Next year, though, I think is going to be about building the fundamentals and building the baseline where I can go and do, like, I can go from there. For example, one of the things I really hope happens next year is this podcast ends up getting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. That would be really cool, because then I could potentially monetize it. Now, I say potentially because with how much I swear in these podcasts, it's not fucking happening. But also having a bigger podcast means that I could potentially find people who want to sponsor the podcast, because I have had a couple of people come with sponsorship requests over on the main channel, but in a lot of cases, I feel like either I would have to start lying about the tool, or I'd have to really... it would just be a lot of bullshitting about it, and I don't really feel like promoting something where I can't actively say, yeah, this is something I really suggest using. Like, for example, if someone like, I don't know, Linode came to me. I don't use Linode. However, I do think they actually have a really good product, and from what I hear, they seem like a really good company. Or, really, there's not really a lot of Linuxy businesses, or System 76, for example, or anyone like that. Like, that's someone who I would absolutely accept a sponsorship from, but I'm not going to name any names. There was a company who has a code completion tool. However, this code completion tool requires you to actually pay for it. Well, you can use it for free, but you really get a very, very limited set of the features if you just pay for the free version. Plus, you need to have an account to even use it. Even if you're just using the free version, you need an account to use it. And that was just like, I don't like that. That's just not something I'm a fan of. Obviously, I can understand having to have an account for the paid version. That's fine. That doesn't bother me. But your free version that has the limited feature set, you need to have an account for that as well. It's like, I'm not a fan. I've talked about my sketchy Chinese key resellers who've come to me. The podcast, if you want to come sponsor the podcast, I'll accept literally anyone here. Yeah, the podcast is where I'm going to be saying just fuck it. Anyone, literally anyone, as long as you're not trying to like break the law. If you want to sponsor the podcast, fuck it. I'll take your money. That's cool with me. If like, I don't know, what's a fun company? Yeah, if Hitachi comes to me and it's like, hey, do you want to help us promote vibrators? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. That's fine. I'll do that. That's cool. Hitachi probably has a lot of money, especially with how big the porn streamers are getting now. So yeah, I'll take Hitachi's money, or like Lush or anyone like that. I'll take your money. Or if really most companies who come to me on the podcast, I'll probably say, yeah, I will accept the sponsorship. Now, I just noticed something weird with these. If you stack them like this, they actually line up like the bottom and the top perfectly. I don't know Like, if you look at this, I don't know why it's built like this, but yeah. So, why is it like that? Why that? Surely that, like, if it's lined up like this, that can't just be. Oh, I guess it. Yeah, instead of putting it in the middle, maybe it also has to do with the construction of it as well. Because as you can see, the USB lines up. I don't know if you can see it. No, you probably can't. The USB lines up with where the plastic casing is coming around it. So that's like on the middle side of that. That's probably why it's located there. I'm probably thinking way too much into it for why it actually lines up like that. But that's just weird. Most of the time you see USB devices with the connector part actually in the center. But yeah, that probably makes more sense doing it like this, actually. But it's just a bit more of a space, what's the word? Space user, space requirement, something like that. It takes up more space, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. I wish I had actually set up my PS4 to be, actually on, so I could test this out and see if it's actually working live. But I might do that in a couple of days or something when I finish the assignment. Something like that. I don't know. So, what else do we have? This isn't much of a long topic, but I noticed... Okay, so Tesla likes to do really dumb things. Or, specifically, Elon Musk likes to do really dumb things. But having... The fact that he owns all of these companies means that it's sort of an extension of his craziness. So you had things like the Boring Company making a flamethrower, and then you had the Cybertruck, and this is a little bit old now. It's going to be like 2 weeks old at this point. Oh, right, I don't have my button set up. I was trying to change my scene. Here we go. This is a tequila bottle. It's only $250, so it's not even that expensive for tequila. That's shaped like a lightning bolt. And made by Tesla. Why? Actually, I don't know if they actually make yeah, it's just branded. I was gonna say. Imagine if Tesla's just like, yeah, we're just gonna start a brewing company. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, you can pay $250 and have a bottle of tequila shaped like a lightning bolt. I don't know if it's good tequila or not, but I guarantee this bottle is going to be significantly more valuable than the tequila that's inside of it. If you just keep it around and keep it full, I don't know how much that's going to go up by, but I know that Tesla's the Boring Company's not a flamethrower. I know that those have gone up considerably in value, so maybe that's a good investment. But that's like buying Pokemon cards as an investment. They probably are going to go up in value, but it's not like an actual good investment. I'm not giving you investing advice. Don't actually go buy this as an investment. Buy it if you want to drink some tequila. But if you are the sort of person who does also buy Pokemon cards as an investment, maybe this would be right up your alley if you want to have a drink as well. Yeah, pretty much. So, what else do we have? Let's we can talk about this one. So, I like to read books. I like to read lots of books. One of the books I'm reading right now is this one right here. I posted about it on Instagram. This is if you just listen to the audio version, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, a Counterintuitive Approach to Living a Good Life by Mark Manson. This is an absolutely exceptional book. So if you have read something like 12 Rules for Life, so Jordan Peterson's book, it takes a very similar approach to it, but it takes far less of a theological approach and far less of a metaphorical approach, where in that book, if Jordan Peterson can do something like make a metaphor about lobsters and how lobster hierarchies relate to human hierarchies, he's going to do so. This book takes a considerably more straight to the point and more approachable way of looking at it. So, let's see, for example, the chapters we have, let's find the index. We have chapter 1, Don't Try. We have the feedback loop from hell, the subtle art of not giving a fuck. So Mark, what the fuck is the point of this book anyway? And then second chapter is Happiness is a Problem, the misadventures of Disappointment Panda. Happiness comes from solving problems. Emotions are overrated and choose your struggle. Basically, it's making a lot of the exact same arguments being made in 12 Rules. However, the way it's framed is a little bit easier to actually be, I guess, a little bit easier to be consumed. Because this book also tries to make it comedic as well. So the author likes to say fuck a lot, and the author likes to make jokes a lot. I did find it to be a little bit hard to read in the first chapter. The first chapter is very heavy on jokes and very, very light on actual, I guess, ways you can improve your life and ways you can actually, I guess, notice that, not just improve your life. That's a bad way to frame it. This book isn't really about improving your life. It's more about identifying the problems that exist with your life so that you can just get off your fucking ass and go and improve it yourself. But the first chapter was very light on actually talking about real world situations, anything like that. It was very heavy on the jokes, and I was honestly thinking of just giving up after that point because I was like, okay, if the rest of the book is going to read like this, I can't sit down and read this. This is too much for me. It's fucking awful. The first chapter is some of the worst writing I've ever seen in a published book. But if you can sit through the first chapter, or if you enjoy the humor, if you can get through the first chapter, from that point on, it is an absolutely exceptional book, and it's going to make you really think about how you're actually approaching your life, how you actually approach your relationships, and how you approach struggle in general, because a lot of people tend to look at struggle as something to avoid. However, this book makes a very constant, it acts as a very constant reminder that struggle is something that is going to help push you forward. It's something that if you don't experience struggle, you're not going to find any reason to actually take that step forward and take that, I guess, let's say for example that you don't get the promotion. You can look at that and say, okay, did I ask for the promotion? Did I do enough work to get the promotion? If I did do enough work to get the promotion, is there something that's actually wrong with this job that I could do? If I'm actually, if everything's going well on my side, is it actually the fact that maybe there was just no opportunity for a promotion, or I just didn't have the character that the management was looking here, and maybe I can go and find something better? Because there's no reason why you have to let yourself be stuck in a dead-end job. If you want to say, I don't know, if you want to have a complete career change, you can go and do that, but taking that first step to actually go and do so, that is the scariest thing to actually do. Once you've already got the ball rolling, everything's much easier from that point, but the hardest thing is actually getting the ball moving. Even something very basic, like for example, back when I worked at McDonald's drains your fucking soul and leads you to the point where you think you can't do anything besides working at McDonald's. And I worked there for 2 fucking years, and I hated every second of it. After, like, I think there's a 3-month period where you're happy working at McDonald's, and then after that point, it just becomes hell. And I basically sat with it for a long time, because by the time that I realized I could leave, I was at the point where I was like, I don't think that it's going to be possible for me to learn of another job. That's just, I know that sounds crazy, but that's sort of what McDonald's does to you. And when you let yourself get absorbed into that spiral of depression, you don't really take the struggle as something that you can use to improve yourself. You start thinking that you simply can't do anything about it, and you just don't have any choice in the world about how you're going to go about your career. But then you realize, once you actually take that step and say, no, I'm going to quit this job and I'm going to go do something else, you realize very quickly that, yeah, you can learn a new job very easily. And it wasn't like I switched from something complex to something else really complex. Like, I switched from doing McDonald's work to doing night field, which is still very easy work, but the same still holds true even if you're switching from, say, being an accountant to being a software engineer. Yes, the difference is considerably larger, but if you put in the effort, you actually can go and make that career change, but actually deciding that that's the thing that you want to do that's the scariest part about it. But there's nothing that can really be done. Like, a lot of other self-help books will say, oh, you should feel good about it, and you should do this, and you should do that. This book basically says, stop fucking worrying about all these problems and just do it. That's sort of the... I know it sounds like a very basic approach to it, but that's really all you actually need. A lot of other books try to really overcomplicate what really is a very basic task. Like, for example, one of the examples that's brought up in the book is people are like send him like mail asking like, how do I break up with my girlfriend, or how do I do this? Obviously, it's very easy to break up with your girlfriend. All you do is say, we're not dating anymore, get the fuck out of my house. But what the question is really asking there is, how do I break up with my girlfriend without also destroying all the other relationships in my life, without feeling really terrible about it, without really hurting this person that I've liked for this very long time? That's what's actually being asked there. But really, the only way to actually approach that is no one else can actually answer that question for you, because no one else knows what that person is thinking. The only way you can actually do something about that situation is to just go and do it. And once you keep doing these things throughout your life, you'll eventually get to the point where you have some sort of mental framework to actually approach these problems. You're not just going into completely blind like you were back when you were like 17 or 18. Now you actually have some life experience, and you can say, okay, how do I actually do this or you can ask yourself, from my experience, how do I actually go about doing this in a way that isn't going to destroy everything? But even then, sometimes it does just make sense to destroy everything. Like, if you want to make a complete career change, you can't do so without first quitting your other job. Obviously, in the case of working like part-time, yeah, you can work 2 jobs at once. But if you're working a full-time job, the only way that you can switch careers from working a full-time job is going and getting a different job. And obviously, yes, it's complicated. There are things you have to do along the way, but ultimately what it boils down to is stop thinking about it so much and just go and do it. I recommend reading this book. And he's got another book. What was his other book called? I have it on my shelf, but oh, my mouse just died. What is it called? Can I reach it? No, I can't reach it. I will just Google it. I can't remember what it is. Mark Manson. He's probably got other books as well, but these two are just ones that I happen to find in my local bookstore. So he has my books. Oh, he has a reading list as well. That's good. So The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck and Everything is Fucked, a book about hope. Also, he has some audiobooks as well. Love is Not Enough, Models Attract Women Through Honesty, and that's all. I wonder what he's got on his reading list, actually. Let's find out. Reading list. Oh, they're all lists. Okay. I thought it was it's a list of lists, so, yeah. Maybe I'll go check this out at some other point and see what's on there, because I'm always interested in finding new books to read. Obviously, yes, I do love my anime nonsense, but sometimes I also like going and reading something that will actually improve my life. Like, for example, I've also got Dave Rubin's book on my shelf, Don't Burn This Book, and what else do we have? We have Atomic Habits down there. We have Jocko, what is it called? What is Jocko's book called? Jocko Willing, in case you're not sure who I'm talking about. Jocko book. Jocko Willink. Extreme Ownership, that's what it's called. Also, I've got Discipline Equals Freedom. I think I've got that one as well. I know I've got Extreme Ownership, though. I haven't read it yet. I can't say if it's any good. but I hear good things about it, so I will have to go and do so. Read books. Reading books is good. And that's actually one of the things that I've wanted to do more of, but I just haven't had the time. Mostly when I read is when the power goes out, which happens significantly more frequently than I would like it to happen here. But mainly besides that, I'll read like an hour or so before I go to bed. And that usually gets me through most books in a couple of weeks. Because I try to do reading every single night, just because it's good to get yourself off your phone and not have it like blaring light in your face. I guess blaring's usually used for sound, but I guess it can be used for light as well. It's good to not do that literally until the second you go to bed, because it's going to be much harder to actually sleep. You need to let the brain chemicals come out and make you sleep more. I'm bad at explaining it. Go look up a podcast. I think it was, if you look up Joe Rogan sleep podcast, you'll find it. It's a very popular podcast, and that was one of the reasons why I started reading before I go to bed. It's just something that before that I hadn't even really thought of doing, but once I realized the massive benefits you get from actually doing so, yeah, it's something I just sort of had to start doing. So I recommend watching that. I think it's from a few years ago. I'll see if I can find it actually. Joe Rogan sleep pod. Yeah, literally look up sleep podcast. You'll find it. Matthew Walker. It is episode 1109, and there's a lot of clips from that episode as well. If you don't feel like watching the entire thing, but it is one of the shorter episodes of Joe Rogan. It's only 2 hours long, or I guess an hour 55. So yeah, if you only ever listen to one episode of Joe Rogan, that is the episode you should listen to. If you want to listen to 2 episodes and you want to have some fun, go listen to any of the Alex Jones episodes as well, because those are always lots of fun. Oh, actually, that reminds me. That didn't remind me. Something else reminded me. But I have this light here. The reason why that's important is because I didn't have that last time. So I've actually got a 3-point light set up now. I actually had this during the Trav Crypto episode. I just didn't mention it. Now I actually have a light here. I have a light here, and I have this, that one there, and also the one in the background as well. I guess it's technically 4. Yeah, it's 3 lights on me, and then a 4th light to light up my background. But I found that not having this one here, as you'll notice, even if we put this one here, this is how I had it set up before. And like it looks okay, but you notice this like this massive shadow here, and especially down here, this is where it really bothered me. This shadow under my beard. If I didn't have a beard, it'd probably be fine, but having the beard there, it makes it doesn't look great, in my opinion. I know some people might like the look, but for me, I felt like it kind of looked... It felt like I just didn't know what I was doing with my lighting, so I was like, okay, I'll just add a 3rd light to this setup, and then I can have a dedicated fill light. So this... Okay, yeah, we're gonna do some lighting information. I guess I still have this weird shadow here, but it's not really that bad. I'll see if I can address that in some way. Maybe if I make the light lower or something. I don't know how I can address it. So a light to my right hand side here. This is called a fill light. Actually, we'll turn this one off and we'll go one by one. So here we go. So this light in front of me. This light is called a key light. A key light is basically the light that lights up your subject. That's pretty straightforward what it does. So this just gives you some light on the subject's face and makes it so you can actually see them while they're in a dark area. That light I have in the background, oh, there we go. I don't know how thumbs work. I don't know. Why was I looking at the, I was looking at the preview rather than feeling where my thumb was pointing. Anyway, this light in the background, I guess you could technically call it like a backlight. I don't think it's got a proper name. Being colored, I guess you could probably describe it as a gel light as well. So basically it's just a colored light that adds some, some color to the background. One thing I might do is I might actually get a second one, have them run on different colors, have one on the left, have one on the right, and see what actually happens there. I think that could be a really interesting look as well. I might try that out and just see what happens. If I don't like it, I just won't use it. But I think having the second light there will also address the problem where I have the light coming in from the side here, kind of getting rid of a lot of the brightness of it. So I think having two lights there actually could really address that. The other way I can address that, obviously, is by actually blocking the light out. But that'll be a massive pain to do, because I don't have blinds here. I have like a roller shutter, which is fucking annoying. I hate this thing. But it's not like a metal shutter. Metal shutters I can understand. This is like one of those just regular blind shutter things. It's stupid. Don't ever get them. They're bad ideas. Anyway, next light. This light here is a fill light. So fill, as you can see, it fills in my face. And also, the nice thing is it actually takes my beard and sort of adds this glow around it. So if we take that off again. Actually, if we raise the light, you can see it. So there we go. Obviously, if I raise it up too much, it's going to massively overexpose my face. But it also makes it so my hair, my dark hair, my brown beard with my black hair. I don't actually dye my hair. I just happen to have a brown beard. Just in case anyone's curious. I don't dye my hair. I just have a brown beard. Now people are going to start saying I dye my hair just because I said that. I'm 22. I don't need to dye my hair. And if my hair starts going grey, I'll let it go grey. Anyway, this light basically just fills in my face and makes it so I stand out from the background. So we will get rid of... Also, yeah, because it lights up all of this, it also lights up a bit of my hair here, which also makes it stand out a bit more against there as well. So it's basically just going to make me pop a bit more from the background. So if instead we have the hair light on, the hair light is a very straightforward one. So we'll get rid of this one here. The hair light, we'll get rid of all the lights except the hair light. Does exactly as what you expect. It lights up my hair. Now this does basically the exact same thing as the fill light, but is significantly more extreme. So having the top of my head here being like basically white, obviously with a better camera... I just coughed again. Obviously with a better camera it wouldn't be as extreme, it wouldn't be as overexposed, but it would still make me stand out from the background itself. Basically the hair light does exactly that. It lights up my hair to make me stand out. So having all three of them there, basically what we get is not a very flat look. Like if I had this light over there, you'll notice there's not really any depth to my face. This, having the key light here, still lets the natural shadows happen. Maybe if we turn that down a bit, you can see it a bit better. As you can see, like, you can still see, like, the natural curves of my face and the natural shadows appearing, but having it like this also gives me the benefit of having this fill light here where now I can actually stand out against the background. Now, this overexposure, once again, is because of my shitty camera. It can also be addressed in another way, which I do want to look into doing. If I get some, like, fabric and put over this, I can soften the light. So softening the light, basically, what it does is makes the shadows less harsh. That's the best way to describe it. As you can see, there's like a bit of a harsh shadow right here. Like, again, if we turn my head like that, there we go. You can see it. So it seems like there's a really harsh shadow there, and that's because there's a filter on this technically. We'll turn this off. Like you have this little plastic filter on it that comes with the light. And I can replace this out with a different one, but it softens the light an absolute tiny amount. What I actually want to have there is something a bit more extreme, and that should address a lot of the problems. I do have some fabric where I can go and make something up myself, and obviously I could go and buy something to do it, but I have like $3 of fabric and I can do it. I'll just make it like a Velcro thing and put it over the light basically and do it like that. But yeah, that's sort of how my lighting setup works now. And I'm probably going to go and do a video on it at some point as well, just because people keep asking me about like my lighting setup and my microphone and how I've done all of this. It's nothing super complex. I'm still kind of guessing what I'm doing along the way as well. It's just a matter of I put in the effort to go and actually look into how to do some of this stuff, and now we have this garbage webcam, the C920, that looks like this, which simply wouldn't be possible without, you know, some decent lighting. As well, it's not just the lighting, as well as my LUT. LUTs are also super important. LUTs basically let you change the colors of the... Basically, it adjusts the colors of the webcam, or adjust the colors of the camera. That's pretty much what that does. And I've just made it so it's a bit more saturated, so I'm not as pale as I otherwise would be. I'm still fairly pale. Now, it does come with a problem. When it's really hot and my face starts to get red, it makes me look like a tomato. That's also a problem just with my webcam itself. That the webcam's just not great with colors. This is just me trying to get the absolute best out of a C920. Now, there is one other thing I could do to get the best out of a C920. I have one more thing. I haven't used it yet, but I will use it when I start streaming. And I'm just going to announce it now, to be honest. So, here, oh, God, I'm tripping over things again. Here, we have a special bag. Now, what is in the special bag, you might ask? Well, in the special bag, you can see a blue here. What's on the other side? You can see a green here. What's this? It's a green screen. So I have a green screen here. Basically, it's like one of the it's a big fold-out one. It's like fucking 6 foot high, and I think 4 foot wide, something like that. So it's plenty to stick behind me, and then just have, you know, green screen thing. So what I could do is I could take a picture of my back. This is actually a legitimate strategy someone talked about on YouTube, and it's hilarious that someone did. I could take a picture of my background and basically put the green screen there, blur out the background in like the picture, and then have a blurry background and have like a fake bokeh effect, which is... The fact that someone talked about doing that is absolutely amazing, but it is such a fucking good idea, and I want to try it at some point. But I do definitely want to use that for streams, because I can do some fun stuff with that. And yeah, I just wanted a green screen. I should have bought it on Black Friday because it's probably going to be cheaper, but I was just like, I'm buying camera gear right now anyway. I'm just going to buy the fucking green screen. That backlight though, if I don't replace it with or if I don't get a second light, another thing that I might do, this is actually, I have been genuinely considering when I get my own place. For now, I probably will get the second light, but I think a more permanent solution is looking into getting some actual good colored lights. So there's a website called DJ City, which, as you can probably guess, sells DJ stuff. And they have a pretty nice looking tool. So this is let's switch over to it. This is a light bar. So basically, this is intended to be used in like clubs and stuff, and it does exactly as you'd expect it to. You can blast colors from it, but you can blast different colors from it at the same time. Now, I presume this is going to be a lot brighter than what I have back here, because this light, it's just like a cheaper, it's pretty much just a cheaper light bulb. But I presume that something that's $150 is going to look a bit better. I don't know how it's going to look. I need to actually find out. Wait, did someone just say... Give me a second. Soundproof? What? Is that a review of a different product, or is that a review of this product? It's a light bar. What do you mean it's soundproof? I have a feeling these are from other products, so these aren't reviews of this product. Anyway, I will see if I can find a video review of it just so I can see how it actually looks, because, yeah, I could go and get a fucking nano leaf like every other streamer does. So if you don't know what a nano leaf is, also this is very long-term stuff. This is when I actually like get my own place and I can mount stuff on the wall. This is a fucking nano leaf. These guys. This isn't the specific one that you See, a lot of streamers have. We go to shapes, you can probably find it. Why does this button not work? Why is there a button here? Why did none of these buttons work? Here's the one that you've probably seen every streamer on the planet have. I don't know why every fucking streamer has, like, this is one of the problems with using the this layout that I have. If I also go and buy a fucking nano leaf, it will look exactly the same as every single streamer on the planet. So, no, I'm not getting a nano leaf. I think it... Why did that button do that? Why does that button not work? What? Lighting to boost your workout. What gym is gonna have like a fucking wall of nano leaves? Whatever. Like, they do look cool. I'm not saying they don't look cool. For anyone who likes the nano leaves, the nano leaf community, multiple fucking nano leaf cult. For anyone who likes nano leaves, I'm not saying they're bad. If you want to have a nano leaf, that's fine. But just know that 1,000 other people have the exact same light that you have. So, I instead want to go with a different route, and I'll probably... That's another thing that I could use for the fucking bar. But I could also probably mount it from the roof as well or something like that, and just have the light coming down like that. I think that would be really cool. Maybe I'd get 2 of them as well, just so I could fill up the entire scene. And I think that would be pretty dope. But that's very, very long-term solution. For now, though, I think getting a second lamp with a globe in it is probably a better solution for now. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong, let me know. Maybe I should get a nano leaf, and yeah, I have a few people laugh about me saying that one day I'm going to get a nano leaf, but no, it's not happening. I say this, but hey, what if I end up doing... How much is a nano leaf, actually? That's one of the things I keep hearing people say, like, nano leaves are expensive. Whoo! Okay. Yes, they are. $300, and that's on sale. So I could go buy 2 of these. I could literally buy 2 of these light bars and get... Yeah, I could have 2 light bars for the same price as... How many segments is it? 9 panels. It's not... So, yeah, it's not even like an awesome setup like this. It's the absolute minimum baseline for a nano leaf. $300. Now, this is JB Hi-Fi. Obviously, I'm talking Australian prices. And JB Hi-Fi is typically more expensive. So let's try Amazon AU. Nano leaf, Amazon AU. Nope, it's the exact same price. As we can see, $300 for the 9 panels, $450 for 15 panels. What the hell? Gaming lights. Actually, that's not even a bad idea there. You could go and get yourself some fucking... Okay. Stop. Okay? Here's 2 solutions you could do. So, there are these things. I'm sure you've seen them before if you're in a country that, you know, celebrates Christmas. There are these things. They're called fairy lights. They're pretty cheap. You know, like 300 LED lights for $20. Or you can get some... Let's get some colored fairy lights. Colored fairy lights. $32 for 132 light modes, 33 foot, 100 LED lights. Okay, yeah, that's cool. And it comes with a little control as well. That's pretty neat. Yeah, I would say maybe try to get some fairy lights. Now, obviously, fairy lights aren't going to look as cool as a nano leaf. But how many streamers out there are rocking fairy lights during their stream? I'm going to say not many. So if you want to stand out from the crowd, that's one way to do so. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had from there. Or you can be like me and be like, get a lamp, because lamps are cool as well. Obviously, not great, but they're cool. I think with the app, there's also a way to sync them up as well. So I actually have them, even with the pulsing mode like this, or the breathing mode, I guess it would be called, I could still have them sync together. But, yeah. Don't just... If you want to try out lighting, try getting some, like, fairy lights first. Or get yourself, like, an LED strip. LED strip. 20 meters. $50 for 20 meters. Actually, is that 20? Yeah, 65.6 foot, 20 meters. I know that some of them are probably going to be broken, but look, obviously they don't actually look this good. They don't look that good, but I think with 20 meters in like, well, I think my wall's like 3 meters across. If I just ran lines of them across the entire wall, I think that would be pretty bloody bright. So there are other solutions to have lighting in your background besides a nanoleaf. I know, it's crazy, but if you do a little bit of research and you don't just buy what every single other person is buying, you might be able to save some money. In fact, you could buy, 120 meters of LED strips for the price of a single nanoleaf. What are you going to do with 120 meters of LED strips? Fucked if I know, but it's an option, isn't it? Yeah. The same is true for everything, really. Like, a lot of people, they'll be like, I'm going to go buy, like, a real cheap, that's what I do. They'll go buy a real expensive microphone boom arm. This is $26, I think. Actually, we'll find out exactly how much. I think I got it from Amazon. I'll find out. I'm not going to show you my Amazon history because there might be things in here that you shouldn't see. There's not actually. I just don't want to have any personal details like my address showing up. If we go to, how do I get here? Order history? Where's the order history on this stupid website? Where is it? Someone's gonna laugh at me, be like, why do you not know how Amazon works? In Australia, Amazon isn't super popular. Okay, sorry, it's $35. $35? $45. Okay, it's more expensive than I thought. It's $45. But that's still pretty cheap compared to getting the exact same arm. So this is a, if we go, I think, yeah, this one's the Enogear one. The Enogear is, I keep buying Enogear because this thing has been pretty rock solid. The arm is fine. Honestly, the thing that's breaking on this, you might notice occasionally my mic falls down. It's actually the shock mount that's breaking. The shock mount is the one that was actually from a as you can see, the shock mount's actually the one from a reputable brand. So Neewer microphone arm. I think oh, fuck off. The Neewer one is slightly cheaper now. But also, the Neewer version, its weight capacity is a little bit lower than the Enogear version. Even though it's the exact same design from what I see, I think the springs are slightly weaker. Because this thing isn't supposed to be able to support a Blue Yeti. So, or if you want to save a lot of money, you can get the white version, but it looks ugly as hell. So that's why it's probably $12 right now. But they seem to always be cheaper. If you don't care about looks, yeah, the white version of any camera gear is always going to be cheaper because literally every time. This is another one, $20. It's cheaper because it's white and the white stuff doesn't look professional, basically. Same with the reason why my silver Blue Yeti was available and the black one wasn't, because otherwise I would have bought the black one. I didn't actually want the silver Blue Yeti. But The InnoGear version isn't supposed to be able, or sorry, the Neewer version isn't supposed to be able to support a Blue Yeti because this thing is a stupid microphone. It is so heavy that every single microphone arm will specifically say whether it supports the Blue Yeti or not. Like, in the actual specifications, it doesn't say for any other microphone. It will just say capable of holding Blue Yeti, yes or no. Because this thing is twice as heavy as every other microphone on the market, and there's no reason for it. I would understand if it was an amazing sound or anything like that, but it's not. It's just another USB microphone. There are microphones for the exact same price or even cheaper that sound exactly the same or slightly better. Now, I'm saying this not because I have buyer's remorse, but because I've been using this thing for a good 2 years now, and I know how other microphones sound, and I know how mine sounds, and I know that this thing clips before it actually gets to the point where it should clip. Which also could be a problem with my USB cable. I might try replacing this one, because it is getting a bit wobbly at this point. So that could be the problem as well, but I don't think it will be, because this is an XLR microphone where something like that actually could be a legitimate problem. I think it is going to actually be the problem. The words. I think it's actually going to be a problem with the fact that it's actually just not a great microphone. Not terrible. I'm not going to say the Blue Yeti is a terrible microphone. There are just better things that exist now. Even in 2018, there were better things that did exist. I just didn't do my research, and that's the reason why I haven't bought a camera yet, because I don't want to do the exact same thing where I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy this camera, and then 2 years down the line be like, that was a fucking stupid idea, especially with the camera, because it's going to be $800. $600 to $800, I guess. I'm thinking of going with an EOS M200. The M50, the problem with that one is it has a recording limit, and, you know, that's just not something I want to deal with. But the M200, not a problem on that device. The A50-100, the problem it has, they're getting harder and harder to get your hands on, and you have to trust that the secondhand camera market is going to not screw you, basically. Which, from what I hear, secondhand camera market's pretty good, but you just have to trust it. I'd rather go and buy a new camera body and go from there. That's sort of where I stand, but if you want to save a few $100, yeah, secondhand camera is probably the way to go. But I haven't bought one, so I couldn't really tell you if that's 100% going to be the case all of the time. So, yeah. Actually, there is another arm I do want to buy. So, right now, I don't actually have a way to mount the camera when I get it, because the camera obviously isn't going to fit on one of these guys, and the arm that I have is a little too short anyway, so I'm going to have to get a longer arm, or have to get a tripod, but I don't have a lot of desk space, so I'm probably going to go the longer arm method. And there are long arms that do exist. I think we can look up camera arm. I was looking at some stuff a while back. I just want to show you something hilarious. Look at this thing. This is a C920 mounted to basically the same sort of arm I have right here. It looks amusing. Can I find it? I know if you look up camera arm, you can find them. And there are some really nice long ones. Let's see if we can find... I think it was like 1.5 meter camera arm or something. There's a Blue Yeti one that I was looking at, which is fairly nice. I can't find it right now. If we go to my history, will I find it? Arm. Desk camera arm. Top 8 camera arms of 2019. Thank you. That is what I was looking for. I think this is what I was looking for. Nope, that's definitely not what I was looking for. Shit. Okay. I know I had... There was definitely some ones that I was looking at. Is this the one I was looking at? Articulating 5-foot camera mount, something like that. That might have been one of them. There's a... I think there was one from Blue in here as well. Eno gear, upgraded suspension. No, that's upgraded suspension. I think this was... Yeah, this was one of the ones I was looking at. This one should definitely be long enough. But... I don't know. Maybe I'll get this one. It's definitely considerably longer. I don't know if it'll fit where I want it to fit, though. That's my only concern. I'll have to, you know, mess around with some stuff and see what I can do. But I know there's going to be a way to get it so I can actually mount it. Oh, no, you can put it off to the... Okay, yeah, that actually will fit then. So, if I have that over on my desk on my... What side is that for you guys? That'll be my left-hand side for you guys. So I'm going to have it like coming across and then sitting basically with the joint mounting or sitting in like this point and have the camera pointing at me like that. I think that'll work. That's actually a really neat system, actually. I didn't even realize what the point of that was. So this like bendy arm thing here is basically a way or a point where you can actually mount the light to. So instead of having it mounted on the camera, which in some cases you can't do, it seems like this camera doesn't have a way to mount a light above it. It's only got the mount below it. Yeah, what's that? What is that fucking mounted to? It looks like it mounted just directly to the wall. But it does, yeah, it's a clamp mount as well. Clamp. Yeah, I might get this one. It's $150, which, yeah, oh, and $50 of shipping to Australia. I guess this is, yeah, I'm on the American store, so that's why. If I go to the Australian store, it'll be different. But, yeah. Would this be appropriate for overhead shooting of artwork on a tabletop? I know exactly why the person's asking that question. There is a video about how to do overhead shooting of artwork on a tabletop. Oh, that video is the one that was, that showed the blue one. So, if I can find that video, then, yeah. I just spilt water on my keyboard. I hope it doesn't break. I like this keyboard. Seems... I'm gonna switch over to this one and try to type the keys that got some water on them. Okay, so... Oh, we seem to be fine. Cool. That's fine. It wasn't much water. I guess it's designed better than an Apple product then. So... yeah, that's basically that for the upgrades. I think that'll... Once I get the arm, the camera... The arm and the camera and the microphone... I think I'll be done for upgrades, and I won't have to keep fucking spending money on this channel for a while. I know, obviously, spending money... You don't need to spend money to make good videos, but I think that it's time to get those upgrades. I've talked about them plenty of times. Somehow, every time this is a solo podcast, it turns into me talking about camera gear, basically because that's one of my big interests right now. This is why I don't talk about it with other people here, because I will bore the fuck out of them. But when it's just me and you guys... Hey, if you want to watch the solo episodes where I talk about camera gear, I'll take it. So, how do we want to end off the podcast? Because we're just after 2 hours here. I don't really feel like going to 3 hours. So, let's talk about, say, my housemate. So, for the past week or so, one of my housemates has been quite sick. Now, you might notice that I've been coughing a few times throughout this episode. Hopefully I'm not getting her cold, because I don't want to be sick. But I supplement like a fucking crazy person, so I should be fine. At least more fine than she was. So, basically, she got like real sick for like 6 or 7 days, and it got to the point where she started just whining about everything. And while she was whining, she was also sitting outside with a glass of Jack Daniels. Now, you might say, could there be some sort of correlation between the Jack Daniels and the staying sick. But that's not all. She was also sitting out there smoking. So when you have a problem breathing, you go smoke and drink Jack Daniels. Now, I'm not saying that the reason why she kept being sick for so long was because every single day she was drinking Jack Daniels and smoking. I'm just saying that it's pretty fucking surprising that she didn't catch on to the fact that that's obviously not a healthy way to get through a cold. And also, unsurprisingly, didn't really change what she was eating or anything. It was just like, oh, I'm going to order a pizza tonight. It's like, pizza seems like a great meal for someone who has a cold. Have you considered anything else? Nope. Pizza, Jack Daniels, and smoking. Could potentially have something to do with the issues you're facing, but maybe I'm just completely mistaken. Maybe I'm just imagining everything, and doing those things is not going to affect your health. Also, she was basically staying inside constantly, so getting no sunlight at all, and she doesn't supplement or anything, so surely that's not anything to do with your health. Surely that's not going to deteriorate your health or anything. I must be completely insane. I think the funniest thing that happens with her is whenever I mention the fact that she drinks so much, she's always like, oh, but you're acting a lot like my brother. It's like, okay, your brother seems like a completely reasonable dude then. Now, I'm not saying that you can't drink if you want to, but if you're going to sit there and complain about your health and then not look at what you're doing that is obviously negatively affecting it, if you're complaining that you're unhealthy and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna go smoke and I'm gonna drink and I'm gonna eat shitty food all the time, I think that's the point where you have to start accepting, like, maybe something I'm doing is wrong here. This is sort of the whole point of this book. Just stop giving a fuck about things that don't matter and look at the things that actually do and say, okay, what am I doing wrong here? You can't just say, okay, well, I'm just not responsible for this problem, so I'm just not going to fix it. Even in cases where people are completely responsible, like with their diet or anything like that, a lot of people will just say, no, I'm just not responsible. I'm just overweight because I'm overweight. But that's, if you want something to change in your life, the only way it's going to change is if you actually, take that step and decide, okay, well, what am I going to do to actually fix this? And if you don't want to take that step, then I don't really want to hear you complaining. Like, if you want to go complain, find people who are also sad and lonely and sad and lonely and boring people who just want to sit there and complain about their lives. Go find those people, but I'm not one of those people, and I don't think I ever will be. And I'm quite happy not being one of those people, actually, because being on this side where, you remotely care about your health. Now, I'm not saying that I care about my health a ton. I do supplement and stuff like that, but my diet isn't the cleanest as it could be. It's certainly better than it used to be, but there's a lot of work that could definitely be done to it. But I'm not sitting here complaining about the fact that I'm unhealthy. I'm just going about my life and doing other things. So if you don't want to care, that's cool, but understand that if it actually is a problem for you, you're the only one who can actually go and fix it. And yeah, that's really the end of it. So I think we'll actually end off the podcast there because I want to go make some lunch. I didn't realize it actually gotten this late. It's already 1:30 and I have to go to work in a few hours. And I haven't actually had any lunch yet. I want to go do that. So let's see a podcast that we can... Oh, not podcast. A channel that you should go subscribe to because they make really good content. I'm gonna say, go subscribe. Yeah, here we go. They have 1.6 million subscribers. This is on to the point where I don't really watch a lot of Linux content because I make Linux content myself. I sort of try to go as far from it as possible. So one channel I've been watching a lot of recently is Churdley's, which is an amazing channel. It's a lot of skit comedy. They've got things like, I've seen my sister's OnlyFans, if a frat house was haunted, you vibed without me, bro, how French people flex on each other, do you even know what I go through? Basically, just really, really dumb skit videos, and I highly, highly suggest checking it out. So, yeah, go and do that and have some fun. That's really what I have to say about that. This channel's amazing and it's a lot of fun. So next week, I will have my mate Nick back on the show, Irishman something or other, whatever his name is online. And then the week after that, at this stage, is going to be Hex DSL. And after that, don't really know who's going to come on. Maybe I'll ask DT. That would be fun. Maybe DT can come on for episode 41 or something like that. I don't really know. Wait, or is 41 a special episode? Is 41 wait. What are your multiples of 7? That's not, wait. 7 times, no, that's obviously not correct. 7 times by, wait, I can't do maths. No, 42 is going to be the next one with Connor. Okay, so yeah, 41's a free one. Maybe I'll bring on one of the library guys, like not one of the library team, one of the guys I know from library. I do want to bring on someone like Jeremy at some point though. That would be fun. Or maybe I'll ask DT finally. I have no idea what I'm going to do. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much everything then. But I didn't even hit on most of my topics. I just didn't feel like talking about most of them. Before I go, I would like to thank my supporters. So a special thank you to Chris, Joachim, Donald, Corbinian, Andrew, Nathan, Montezar, Chico Bento, Joseph Pitty, Road Tony, Brennan, John, Marek, MacLeod, Nate Dog, Nephite, Poe, Tees, and Zilva. If you want to go support my podcast and support the rest of my work, there'll be links down below to my Patreon, subscribe to our Libra and all of that sort of stuff. I've got this podcast available as an audio version, basically anywhere you can find audio podcasts, and the video version is available on Library, YouTube, and I think that's, I guess on Twitter, not Twitter, Facebook and Dailymotion if you want to watch it there, but YouTube and Library/Odyssey are the two main places. And my main channel's available on YouTube, Library, BitChute, Odyssey, and a bunch of other places like that. So go check that out if you like a little Linux content. I will announce my gaming channel when I eventually start it up. I haven't decided on a name yet. I'm working on a logo because I want to use a logo that's different from my my main stuff and just have it be more gamery, I guess. Yeah. So once I have that name, I will announce it here. And I think that's pretty much everything. So thank you guys for watching. I guess we can switch over to the end screen. Look at that. That's nice and fancy. Obviously, I would normally have the mic muted. And thank you guys for watching. This has been a lot of fun. I actually enjoy the solo episodes. I think they're actually good preparation for a stream as well. I think that a lot of people, when they go into streaming, they don't really have any experience just talking for a couple of hours by themselves. And that's something that I'm kind of going to have to be doing at the start. So having this experience with the podcast, I think is some good experience to have. And I think will make it so the streaming experience goes a bit easier towards the start. So I think that's pretty much everything for me. And I was going to do the thing, but you can't see me. We'll switch back then. And I'm out.